Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by X-Cancer. Check them out at xcancer.com. Now, full disclosure, I wasn't actually going to do this show. I don't want to take a bunch of time on this, but I do. Everybody's been hitting me up. How you doing? What's the news? What's the update? I appreciate that. And so I thought it would just be simpler if I made this video. Okay, so here's a little bit of a health update on yours truly. My heart is back to beating normally. It's actually slower than normal, but we can get back to that in a minute. I'm currently on blood thinners to prevent any strokes, things of that nature. I'm also on beta blockers. Essentially, that is what is slowing my heart rate way down. So everything in my world is kind of like slower moving, more methodical. You know, I'm not the frantic, fast-talking Adam that I typically am, but that's an attempt to keep my heart rate down, because technically at this moment in time, a doctor used the words cardiac failure is technically what I'm in at this moment in time. And so my heart was going like this for 3 months, pounding since before Christmas to about a week ago, because I'm a wonderful genius and decided not to say anything. I was raised. You walk it off, you rub dirt on it, you don't say anything. Also, I'm not very bright, apparently. And throughout the course of doing this for 3 months, never getting a chance to slow down, never getting a chance to recover, my heart actually weakened considerably. So my EF, or as I've been informed, my ejection fraction, which is supposed to be around 65, is actually 35. So it's been weakened. So the doctor did look at me. I'm like, am I okay? Am I going to be okay? He's like, you can walk out of here. You'll be fine. You're young. Okay, your heart will build back up over the next month. He's fully confident in that. And a month from now, I'm going to need to have another surgery, okay? But I'll get to that in a second. We're going to do a cardiac MRI to make sure that the heart is built back up, make sure no clots have developed, shouldn't happen being on the blood thinners and all that good stuff. And so my heart should build back up to its normal strength, but I'll need to have what's called an ablation surgery. And I've actually spoken with a couple of other people who've had this as well. And basically what they're going to do, because I was in AFib, atrial fibrillation, AFib, and my heart was pounding. My dad has this. Come to find out, all of my dad's uncles have it. It runs heavy in the Carriker family, at least in some parts of it, I found out. And so what the doctor said, because I'm like, well, why do I have to do another surgery? Like, I'm taking this medication. We'll get the heart back to where it is in a month. I'll be good to go. He goes, no, there's like an 85 to 90% chance once you go into AFib, even though we've shocked you back into your normal heart rate, he goes, there's like an 85, 90% chance you're going to go back into it again at some point. So we got to take preventative measures for that. That's where the ablation surgery comes in. Essentially what they do is they go up through the groin and they use a sack of liquid nitrogen. He showed me the video, and they freeze parts of the heart. And essentially that kind of controls the electrical output, stimulation, whatever the case may be with the heart rate, and kind of prevents me from ever, hopefully, in theory, going back into atrial fibrillation, or my heart pumping and pounding like crazy. I don't want to overblow this. There are worse surgeries out there. Like I mentioned before, this is not, in my previous video, this is not quadruple bypass surgery or something like that. It is the heart. And if I'm being fully honest, had you told me 2 weeks ago, hey, Adam, we're going to shock your heart and then we're going to freeze parts of it, I'd have been like, you're going to what? What? So, I think there are worse surgeries. There are worse things. It is the heart. It is still kind of hard for me to wrap my head around all of this, especially, like I mentioned before in my previous video, at the age of 37. I think that aura of I'm young, it'll never happen to me. I'm invincible. That bubble has been popped. That's a little hard to wrap my head around, especially for someone like me who spent their entire life depending and counting on my body. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's reached out. The support has been phenomenal. From people I speak to all the time, to people I haven't talked to in a couple years, to 10 years. I've spoken with people I haven't spoken with in 10 or 15 years. The support has been awesome. I can't help but think of my grandma Carriker. She passed away a few years ago, but I got really close with them during college. They had a small family farm that my dad was born and raised on in Giltner, Nebraska, small town right outside of Lincoln. And then they retired and lived in Aurora after they retired till my grandma and grandpa passed away. But, most grandmas are pretty, nice to their grandkids. Not saying she wasn't, but she kind of had an ornery streak. I might get it from her. And she had this saying, We shall see what we shall see. We'd be playing cards, and she would a lot of times set herself in whatever card game we were playing just to set me. And she would think it was hilarious. She had that ornery little laugh, and I'd be like, Grandma, I'm going to set you now. I'm going to get you. And she'd look at me, and she'd just laugh. We shall see what we shall see. And I can't help but feel that way right now. You know, whatever comes, whatever happens, my attitude, just like I said in the last video, anybody, anything, anytime, anywhere. You want some, come get some. Or in my grandma Carriker's words, we shall see what we shall see. And whatever comes our way, we'll take it on head on. Please continue to pray for my wife. All the kids are kind of aware of what's going on. Like I mentioned in the last video, I got 6. The older 3, they're much more aware. In fact, one of them took a little heart thing, was putting it up to my heart the other day. It's like, it's pumping good, Daddy. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Like I said, I will be just fine. I have no doubt about that. I don't want to do another video on this. Not that I don't want to inform folks, but I want to get back to talking Husker football. So I will be back next week doing shows a couple times a week. We got a spring game coming up. So the next time you see me next week, I'll be doing a couple videos talking Husker football. Go Big Red Nose, remember. Throw the bones. This show is brought to you by X-Cancer. Join the fight at xcancerstore.com and support your loved ones, your neighbors, and cancer fighters all over the world and help them gain access to revolutionary treatments. xcancerstore.com has a wide variety of t-shirts and merchandise supporting a wide variety of cancer battles so you can show off the colors that matter. Proceeds from each purchase not only help those at home, but also cancer fighters in Tanzania, Africa. Check them out at xcancerstore.com.